Hi, I'm Anne. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing another tag. This one is Let's Get Outside with Books tag. This was created by Sandy from Miss Reads a Lot, and I was tagged by Gina Stanier. And I even have my outfit prepared that I would actually wear to the outdoors. So I have like shorts on, this button-up shirt. This is the best shirt to wear out hiking because it is light, but it's also like covers your skin so I don't get horrible sunburns when I go hiking. Clearly, I love the outdoors. I also have horrible allergies, so I struggle to go outdoors, especially this time of year in the early spring, or I guess this is later spring by now because the blossoms are everywhere and my nose is just going crazy. Let's get to the prompts. Number 1, Into Thin Air. What is your favorite books about or set in the outdoors? The first one that came to mind that was positive was The Secret Garden. This is like a picture book adaptation of it, so it's not the full story, but my mother has a copy of that, and that's where I read it growing up. And The Secret Garden, I absolutely love the idea of this little girl coming out into the countryside in England and kind of revitalizing this garden and revitalizing the people in the house. I really love that concept. It's a very cute story. It's also focused more on the outdoors. Number 2, Winterdance. This is the story Gary Paulsen running the Iditarod for the first time, even though he isn't particularly good at it. Do you have a hobby or skill that you keep attempting even if you are not particularly good at it? I do partially agree with Sandy's pick for this, which is art in general. I'm always trying to do art, but I think the best one that comes to mind is I've been obsessed with calligraphy since I was very young, maybe like 12 or 13. I remember getting like this basic calligraphy set, and I've never been good at it. I will probably never be good at calligraphy. My hands just aren't steady enough. So as much as I try to practice calligraphy, I just will never be good at it. So I've come to accept that, but it is a hobby that I keep coming back to every couple of years. I don't know. Number 3, Wild. This is the story of Cheryl Strayed hiking the PCT after the death of her mother. Recommend a book where the central theme is dealing with grief. The first one that came to mind is A Man Called Uwe by Frederick Bachman. This tells of a very grumpy old man, and he is going through the grief of his wife. And the story is told both in the present, when he's a very old man and his wife has passed away, and then it also goes back in time and follows his life with his wife. So it is in very much a tribute to her, as well as a tribute to him dealing with his grief now in the present. So it's a beautiful book. I've talked about this a lot. This book is so popular, so I can see why it was popular. I read it because it was so hyped, and usually I'm disappointed with hyped books, but this one definitely lived up to the hype for me personally. Number 4, Into the Wild. Follow Chris McCandless, who travels to remote Alaska and unfortunately passes away in the wilderness. Does the idea of living off the grid or away from society appeal to you? I think Shelley said this in her answer is, yes, I love the idea of living off the grid, but I still would need plumbing. And I completely agree with her answer is, yes, I think I would love to be closer to nature, live outside the city, live in the country, live in farm country. I would love that. But I'd also need groceries relatively nearby, 20-30 minute drive. I would want to be able to get groceries when I need them, or being able to take a proper shower, be able to wash the dishes, do laundry. I would not want to do laundry without a laundry machine. So yeah, in general, I'd love to live farther away from people, but also I don't think I would want to live completely off the grid. Number 5, A Walk in the Woods. Story of Bill Bryson and Katz hiking the Appalachian Trail. What is a book with a very interesting friendship? A really interesting friendship, I should say. I picked, because I feel like there's so many great friendships in it, The Lord of the Rings. I mean, you can't beat Sam and Frodo's friendship. Sam is an amazing character, but also there are so many friendships throughout this book. You have Merry and Pippin. You have even the competitive friendship that develops between Gimli and Legolas. There's just so many different friendships. You also have the brotherly friendship that you see hinted to of Boromir and Faramir. There's just so many great friendships in this book, and it is the most powerful theme in the book, I'd say, is none of these characters would have survived without friendship because they're constantly being saved by other people, whether it's Frodo being saved by Sam or Pippin being saved by Gandalf, or there's so many. And There's so many great friendships in that book. Number 6, Adrift. The story of Stephen Callahan's time lost at sea. Do you like the water? I love the water. I haven't been on the ocean that much. I did grow up for the first 8 years of my life in Oregon, but if you know Oregon, a lot of their beaches there are like pebbles, they're rocky, they're not like the bright sunshiny beaches we think of in like California or something. They're like gloomy usually. It's very rare to see the sun in Oregon. But I've never been on the ocean in Oregon. So I've only been on like the Great Lakes in either Minnesota, mostly. So I love being on the water, but I like to be able to see the coast. I know on Lake Superior, if you look in the center of Lake Superior, it looks like you're in the middle of a sea. And that is kind of disturbing to me, not being able to see the coast. Now, it would depend on how big a ship I was in. If I was in like a massive like cruise ship or something like that, I think I would feel more safe. But on like a smaller boat, I would feel very alone out in the middle of the sea. So I don't think I would like that much. I also tend to get seasick very easily. Even when I was on like small lakes for like 4 or 5 hours, I would get a little bit seasick and wobbly and kind of a little bit nauseous. So I love being out on the water. I love like taking a book out on the water and sitting down and maybe fishing or something like that. I never liked fishing that much, but my family got into it. So yeah, I do like the water, but I don't know how much I would love to be like on the water all the time or have it be my job or something like that. Number 7, Hatchet. Fictional story of a young boy who is in a plane crash while traveling to Alaska and has to survive with only a hatchet. What is your favorite survival story? There's so many great ones. I thought of Unbroken by Laura Hildebrand because that is a story of survival. But I picked out another one which is really interesting to me, and the cover screams the outdoors. This is The Lost City of Z by David Grann. It is a nonfiction, but it follows this real life of this explorer, Percy Fawcett. And they made a movie called The Last City of Z, but in that one was much more like fictionalized, whereas this one is much more nonfiction documentation. But Fawcett was this explorer who went out into the Amazon searching for the fabled lost city of gold, and he disappeared. And Gran sets out to kind of trace Fawcett's quest. And it's an interesting book because, you know, it brings up the question of, is your survival more important, or is like discoveries more important? Because Fawcett risked his life constantly just to find this fabled city of gold that he didn't even know existed. And because of that, he left behind like a young boy and his wife. So yeah, it's an interesting book about survival, but it has a sad ending, I guess. Number 8, A Perfect Storm. Story of fishermen who were lost at sea during a big storm. Do you like stormy weather? Yes, yes, yes. I love stormy weather. Thunder, lightning, rain. I just love it all. I think it's because I spent the first like 8-9 years of my life in Oregon. So in Oregon, it rains like 9 months out of the year. And I loved it. I love that relaxing lull. Even now, if I can't sleep, I will absolutely just turn on some ambiance, rain ambiance, and it's just brilliant. Anyway, I will not be tagging anyone else because I'm pretty sure everyone I watch has already done this. Maybe. I don't know. I say that every time, but I should probably check. What are some of your answers to these prompts? Have you read any of these books, or do you agree with my opinions, disagree? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like, subscribe. I post every Saturday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.